Absolutely.
Enjoyed it. He's been jumping all over the place, Angus. I tell you.
I've been very reserved.
The movement was excellent, almost as good as Liverpool's.
It was moving the same as Everton were, and obviously, and Arsenal.
Yeah,
we looked at the first game and we spoke about Chelsea's pace, energy, how direct they were as opposed to Everton, and it's the same in this game. Salah, Mane, Firmino have just had too much pace, too much power, and of course, Chan, Wijnaldum and Henderson in the midfield has dominated. Arsenal have been pedestrian, they've been slow. Sanchez is coming to try and get the ball everywhere. Liverpool really have just, and we said at the start, they blew them away in the first 20 minutes last year, and they've blown them away again. Yeah. And Arsenal don't have an answer. They've got no pace, no energy, no direction. They're very disappointing, but long may it continue.
They haven't got an answer, have they, Arsenal?
Well, you can't play the game without the ball. It's a good idea if you have a bit of the ball, but the defending's been atrocious. That's no defending. The high-level football, and I don't care, we're lucky enough to have played at a decent level. If you don't go touch tight with people in a penalty box, you end up getting beat, and that's what's happened. But for me, that performance in the first half it's unacceptable from Arsenal.
Well, we talked about Holding. I feel sorry for the boy Holding. We said at the start, Mane's going to get at him before the game even started, and that's how it's turned out.
Yeah. So if we know that,
exactly,
why don't they know that and give them a little bit of protection if necessary? But it's, I try to look for things. I was just before the second goal, I was looking for things to say that might convince me. And I always think with Liverpool, and as well as I've played, John, I always feel that they've got one speed in their game, and that's overdrive.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And managing a game is more difficult for them.
Yeah.
And that's why I still think they give you a chance. I mean, this is what you talk about, Mark, and you're talking about this, Paul, weren't you?
It really was. If you look at Holding here, he's actually got him. He actually looks over his shoulder. If you just watch,
you can see him coming all the way.
You can actually see him.
And he just lets him run.
Yeah, there's a glance over his shoulder to see where.
Well, because Oxlade-Chamberlain comes in and picks up Mane.
Absolutely. And then that should have released Holding into Firmino.
This Arsenal team is designed to keep possession. If you look at the players that actually have, Xhaka likes to take his time on the ball. Ramsey's good on the ball. On the counter-attack, when Liverpool gets it, they're not playing a very slow build-up game like Arsenal. They're very direct. Xhaka can't keep up with them. Ramsey can't keep up with them. The back three can't keep up with them. So, as I said, this Arsenal team is designed to be fairly decent in possession, but out of possession, they cannot live with Liverpool.
Well, 5 passes, was it, for the second goal? And you just talk about that stretching Arsenal counter-attack.
Absolutely, and it's not even the 5 passes, the direction of the passes. All forward passes. All forward. And there's so much gap in between. Here you can see they win the ball here, and look how open Arsenal are.
I don't. As being an ex-midfielder, if you're playing that, somebody's got to hold the middle of the pitch. Yeah. It's absolutely, that is wide open. That's unbelievable how a top team can play like that. I mean, if John said there, 5 passes in up the pitch.
All forward passes.
I don't think Arsenal have got any nastiness in their game.
They haven't, and there's not one of these players receiving the football who's ever under pressure. Yeah. Not one. Absolutely. The whole length of the pitch. Yeah. The 5 players that touched the football had the ability to take touch if they want it, turn, pick a pass and play it. And then once he got like this,
shocking. I think he's backed off.
Yeah, he's scared of the pace. Yeah. Now Arsenal haven't got any defensive players apart from the back three. And if you may say Liverpool with Wijnaldum, Chan and Henderson may not have any defensive players, but what they have, they've got energy. And those 3 midfield players work hard. They close down, they get back. Whereas the Arsenal midfield players, Ramsey isn't going to close down, neither is Xhaka. They want to play at their own pace, and this game is suited to Liverpool.
Even that second goal, now Holding, if you're at Arsenal, you must be at Arsenal for a reason.
Yeah.
He knows Mane's right-footed. He must know Mane's right-footed. He has got to show him down the line.
Oh, the commentator says it. This is a stock goal. So if the commentator who's sitting up in the grandstand looking says this is what he does, surely if Holding doesn't know that, somebody in the coaching staff is saying to him, when you get one-on-one with Mane, which you probably will today, because that's the nature of where you're playing and where he plays, overemphasise the left side and send them there.
Send them down there.
Yeah.
The players who play for Arsenal, he said the players who play for Arsenal are good footballers. He's probably looking at Holding and say he's decent on the ball, he can bring the ball out. You know he doesn't like defenders who defend, he wants you to be good on the ball. And as long as you're good on the ball, you've got a chance of playing for Arsenal. And I'm sure they're all good on the ball, but they can't defend. Midfield players can't defend, the defenders can't defend.
But you've got to defend. Yeah. That's part of the game.
That's what I don't get in the modern day game. People forget the art of defending.
Yeah. Particularly for the defenders.
I think if that's up against Lee Dixon, for example, or whatever, I'm pretty sure Lee Dixon would have showed them down the line. Even in the build-up to this game, I think if you're doing your analytical stuff,
yeah,
you'll say, listen, we can't leave Holding in a 1v1 with Manny. We'll put Bellerin over there.
Yeah.
One guy that might match him with speed.
Yeah.
That's
or even when you're playing that attack, you know, when you're preparing for a break, so you're tight enough, Paul, so if it comes out 1-2, you can at least make a foul. I mean, that doesn't sound good, but that's what you have to do sometimes.
Absolutely.
But the boy needs
they were
protection,
so wide open.
The boy needs protection. 1-against-1 with Mane is harder for anybody else. And you think about what are the people in front of him who are going to come back.
John.
The right wing back, you know, Oxlade-Chamberlain alongside him, a midfield player, give him a little bit of support. So often he's been isolated because Arsenal do not have the personnel to play that way. And you look at the bench now to say who can come on to change that. Very much like Everton, there are no changes to come on to make it defensively better. You
Not defensively.
Giroud coming on, Lacazette coming on, 4 at the back, hit long balls, play a bit more direct. You'll cause Liverpool problems.
What one of the Arsenal players will get into the dressing room half-time and go, point a finger.
Not allowed.
I guarantee,
not allowed.
Not one of them looking at that will get in that dressing room and
But Paul, they wouldn't be allowed because the manager wouldn't allow it.
No one will say a word. It'll all be...
Well, the coach, Arsenal's got a massive 15 minutes. I believe he's got a massive 15 minutes coming up. He has to do something.
Because when you look at that record we were talking about, the worst of the top 6, and I know, John, you're saying, look, you've got to beat all the other teams. But if Arsenal are not going to beat... Well, but I don't think they'll... More like third from bottom, not third for Arsenal. John Barnes will be licking his lips and enjoying a big post-match debrief on that one, alongside Paul Lambert. 4-0 Liverpool winners over Arsenal today at Anfield.
Them away in the first 20 minutes last year, and they've blown them away again. And Arsenal don't have an answer. They've got no pace, no energy, no direction. They're very disappointing, but long may it continue.
They haven't got an answer, have they, Arsenal?
Well, you can't play the game without the ball. It's a good idea if you have a bit of the ball, but the defending's been atrocious. That's no defending. The high-level football, and I don't care, we're lucky enough to have played at a decent level. If you don't go touch tight to people in a penalty box, you end up getting beat, and that's what's happened. But for me, that performance in the first half it's unacceptable from Arsenal.
Well, we talked about Holding. I feel sorry for the boy Holding. We said at the start, Mane's going to get at him before the game even started, and that's how it's turned out.
Yeah, so if we know that,
exactly,
why don't they know that?
When we're done tonight, Italian and plenty of other European football for you in the company of Andy Kerr.
Thank you very much, Angus. Some in Milan say this is the most exciting time to be a Milan fan since the signings of Ruud Gullit, Marco van Basten, Frank Rijkaard. More than 100 million spent at the San Siro over the summer. We'll see this new-look side under the tutelage of Vincenzo Montella tonight. A big one for them. They're at home to Cagliari in their season opener in Serie A. Looking forward to seeing that in the company of the former Italy and Inter goalkeeper Walter Zenga and the former England and Sunderland fullback Mickey Gray. In the meantime, we'll show you all of the goals in the top 5 European leagues. Plenty to come in. If you want to get involved in the show, use Twitter, use the hashtag #TheClub. Angus.
Andy, thank you very much indeed. Look forward to that. Well, what a terrific afternoon it has been for Liverpool, beating Arsenal 4-0 at Anfield. Here's captain Jordan Henderson. In just a moment. What sort of a statement John Barnes of Liverpool just made by that performance?
Well, it's difficult to tell because it didn't really surprise me. I was surprised in the way Arsenal played, but I wasn't surprised in the way Liverpool played. And I've said at the start, and I'll say again, Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea, Tottenham, we will play this way. And if those teams show the same attitude that Tottenham will, they'll get 3 and 4 as well. A statement for me would be when we pick up results, when we don't play well against West Brom and the so-called lesser teams who sit back, defend deep, and they don't allow Liverpool to break at them. They don't give them any space. And if Liverpool can win those games, that for me is a bigger statement than he saw today.
Well, there'll be better teams than Arsenal were today. Those teams you
It's
mentioned.
not a question of being better. It's a question of showing the heart and determination and desire, which Arsenal didn't show. So the teams will be better than Arsenal in terms of their attitude and their commitment, not in terms of the quality, because Arsenal have got lots of quality. But for Liverpool, their difficult games are when teams sit back, defend in numbers. Mane, Salah, they don't have that space to run into. What's the solution? Get wide, get crosses in. We don't really score that way. And there are many more games like that than there are against the Arsenal teams. And we've seen it since Klopp has been there. They're the games we've struggled in. So I said at the start, it wouldn't surprise me if Liverpool go and blow Arsenal and Man City and teams like that out of the water.
You mean like Palace last week?
Palace
There's
last
a classic
week.
example,
Absolutely,
isn't it?
yeah. And we're
Palace
fortunate to win.
have been looked awful this season, and yet they go
They
to
nearly got a point.
and frustrate them for a long, long time.
And you mentioned that, you know, for Arsenal, they should be beating teams around them. If Liverpool beat all those teams around them, but they don't beat the other 10 teams, that's no good. So the statement for me would be when they can start to pick up them away in the first 20 minutes last year, and they've blown them away again. They didn't play well, haven't picked up the results, whereas they've got no pace, no energy, no direction.
Well, it was a great
very disappointing, but long may continue.
They haven't gone long. Typical of the way Arsenal played all the
You can't play the game without the ball. Yeah. It's a good idea to have forget the ball. Forget defending's been atrocious. Forget that's no defending. The high level football. If you don't turn up and you perform that way, it's okay hiding behind the manager and saying, "Oh, well, it's the manager's fault." If you don't go touch people in the penalty box, you take your fair responsibility. End up getting beat. But that's what's happened. But for me, that performance, there was no fight. There was no courage in the ball. There was nobody taking responsibility.
We talked about holding. I feel sorry for the boy holding. We said at the start, Mane's going to get it in before the game even started, and that's how it's turned out.
You can play this way at all. And you look at this the second goal. Nobody in the vicinity. Nobody make a challenge. Leave the holding.
But it's I mean that. I try to look for things that was just before the second goal. I was looking for things to say that might convince me, and I always think